For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
It's time for an inside look at the most powerful motorsport on the planet. WFO Radio, NHRA Nitro. This is WFO Radio.
How about now, Total Seal Piston Rings, the location, the show ignition, the guest, Matt Hartford, Joe Costello here as we get started once again, and we'll see. There we go. Now we are better. That was me.
So what you're saying is you got to hit the button.
The one that says on the air.
No, perfect. So we did that. So we're in the Bat Cave. It's a hidden place within Total Seal. No one knows where it's at except for you now. So
I am sworn to secrecy, guys. I'm sworn to secrecy. So this is really cool because this is a factory where the rings that go in so many, whether it be stockers or pro stockers or, open wheel cars of many breeds, they start out here. That's got to be really cool. This place has been here for a long time. Talk a little bit about the history of Total Seal, because this didn't just pop up.
No, Total Seal was started in 1967 by Joe Moriarty Sr. And the man was just probably one of the greatest guys that ever walked the earth. And, he had a concept of how to seal the engine up better, started Total Seal. It was Powerformance International back in the day, turned it to Total Seal in 1974. And then lo and behold, 4 years ago, I purchased with some investors, I purchased Total Seal from the family, and, we're trying to take it to the next level. So, you're right. We get to deal with everybody, whether it's Greg Anderson or it's an F1 team, whether it's a guy running a stocker or an IndyCar team. We deal with all the different manufacturers around the world, and it's a lot of pressure to make sure that we get the right product out there, but it's a lot of reward when you turn on the TV and you see a car that has your product in winning a race.
Whether they let you say it or not, because a lot of it is top secret stuff, right?
No, I have NDAs with most of the teams, and the one NDA with one of the manufacturers. It's in Europe. Let's say it's about 1.5 inches thick. So it's something that they're very serious about not talking about what we do. The only thing we can really say is that yes, we produce rings for IndyCar. Yes, we produce rings for F1. Yes, we produce rings for NASCAR. That's about it.
Well, that's good enough for me. And of course, we talk about our sponsors. Total Seal been on board with WFO. We're going to do a hidden horsepower episode from here as well. I saw Eddie is out there, and we'll get you in on it. You're coming in off a very good, strong weekend. We're going to hear from the race winners. We're going to hear from Alan Reinhart. We're going to have a great conversation out there. But since you're here, I know you wanted to win the race. It was your wedding anniversary. It was your home race. So how do you look at it? We had a great race. We got bonus points. We were low of the sessions, but got beat in the semifinal.
So the way I look at it's very simple. Let's go back to 2018. Final round, we roll up against Erica in Houston. There was no one in the stands that thought we could beat Erica. Her performance was way better. She was driving way better than I was. We went up there. I cut a decent light, and we outran her. She got beat. No one seen that coming. We come to Phoenix. We have a great race car all through qualifying, all through eliminations. We go up there. Camry cuts a better light than I do. She makes her best run of the weekend, and she goes on to win the race. So when it's your day, it's your day, and I'm really happy for her. That's to get your first win is something that is incredible, and I remember mine. So yes, we lost. We're not happy about losing, but we're happy that she won. We're happy that she went on to win, and it was her day. So we lick our wounds. We go to Pomona, and we try to capitalize.
Well, exactly. And you'll be in the Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge, which is a bit of a bonus race. There's extra money. There's extra points. A great program. This will be your first appearance, and you get a shot at a rematch.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And honestly, we want to win that deal, like I think like anybody does. But our goal is to go there and qualify well. We're going to put all that distraction just aside. To us, we're just going to go up there and try to make another good run, concentrate on our side of the tree, our lane, our car, and see what the numbers show up at the other end. And if there's a win light and we can move on in that deal, that's great. But our goal is to qualify well and try to win Pomona.
All right. And so, as I said, we're going to do a hidden horsepower. But since we're live and people are sharing the show, and you're going to hear from the winners, you're going to hear from Justin Ashley, you're going to hear from Robert Hight, you're going to hear from Camry Caruso, all on this show. Alan Reinhardt is down there scheduled to join. And such as the audio situation, I don't think I can be speaking with you and have Alan on at the same time, because one or the other will be able to hear me. We'll fix that up for hidden horsepower. But, when you have a quick and fast hot rod like you do, doors open. Got anything interesting you want to tell us about for Pomona?
Yeah, it's something, and we've had relationships with a lot of people for many years, and there's been a lot of help over the years. But the one thing that is we're really proud to announce is GetTrex is coming on board with Total Seal starting in Pomona. I've known Pat Galvin and Trevor for a long time. Obviously, we have a lot of common mutual friends, and so they're going to be a nice size associate sponsor on the car for Pomona, and we'll see where it goes. We hope it carries throughout the season, but we know it's on there for Pomona, and we just feel that we have been a customer of theirs for so long here at Total Seal. We've used their products. We know how good it is. We know the cost savings that we've seen, that I've went on to promote it to, even the guys at Rob's, one of my sponsors. Hey, you should use GetTrex for your credit card processing. And he did, and it was a huge cost savings. We did it with Larry at the Hose Connection, same deal. So we know how good their products are, and now we're going to be in a position that we can publicly market it. And that's what it's all about, is it's a business to business relationship. We're going to try to continue making sure that Total Seal can help market GetTrex, because they're good to us, and if they're good to us, then they're going to be good to our customers. So it's something that we're really proud of. We can't wait to have the decals on the car and really promote it, and it's local for them. So they're out of California, and so it's going to be exciting.
No, obviously Steve Bryson and Scott, they are diehard drag racers, and to be on board with Pro Stock Team, I think that is great, of course, with the Aranas as well. And isn't that the way it is nowadays, the business to business relationships? There's a lot of energy in these businesses that make the cars go fast, and if you can get them all on board with a relationship, it helps everybody.
Oh, it does, and that's what we're going to try to do. It's like what we do with every company that's on the side of our car. It's not about, hey, can you write me a check so I can go racing? No one does that anymore. Well, I guess maybe people do, but not for us. So it's all about, how can we give back to the people who are helping us? How can we promote in the different localities? No different than when we get to Charlotte in the fall. We'll have ZMAX or some association of a ZMAX company on the side of our car, because they came on board this year with us. So we really, oil and piston rings go together. So if we can have, a relationship with ZMAX and help promote their brake and oils and promote their gear lubes, this is all good news for them and good news for us, because the stuff works. Same thing with the credit card processing. If we can promote to our customer how to have cost savings, that's good for them. And then that relationship can turn, and then the marketing partners on the side of our car can then in turn help us. So it's just a big circle of, I can help you, so you can help him, so he can help her, so you can help me, so it go in around and around.
And we all love racing, and that is our mutual deal. So how about that? Some big breaking sponsorship news from the Hartford team here at Total Seal. Now, having that quick and fast hot rod, right? Like that's a great thing. The KB Titan relationship, they came through. You guys didn't test. No. Figured it out rapidly at Gainesville, and then had one of your best weekends out there, like low of the session 5 times.
Yeah, we're 5 runs in a row. We were low for the session. Q2, actually, Aaron was technically low by bonus points because of speed, but we tied him on ET. So we went low ET 5 runs in a row. And I can tell you, I have never done that. I've never went 3 in a row or even 2 in a row low for the session. So I think we have a good, consistent car right now. We did not test. A lot of people stayed and tested in Phoenix. Our thought of testing was put the car in a trailer and don't touch it till we get to Pomona because it's fast. And if I can go and do a little bit better job driving, I think we can capitalize on it and definitely be a top 5 qualifier.
All about confidence, right? You know, you got a fast car, then you can focus on the driving. You got a fast car right now. Matt, thank you very much. Appreciate you inviting us into Total Seal. We're going to do our little race recap with Alan Reinhart here from the Race Winners. Good news is you get to go racing just a couple of literally hours from now.
Yeah, I can't wait because it's still a hard loss.
I'm sure it's tough. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Joe.
Appreciate it. There it is. Matt Hartford with us here on WFO Radio. And we're doing a little interesting stuff here with our audio. I do want to tell you about the people who make it possible. We'll get to Reinhart. We'll play the winners of the interviews. But setting up the studio here in the Total Seal studio, very interesting stuff. And I just want to say shout out to everybody. Please share the show on location, kind of at a little bit later time. It's earlier. I'm on West Coast time with Reinhart and getting used to it all, getting everything hooked up here in the studio. But we are going to hear from the winners. And I do want to tell you about the people who make it possible for me to go WFO. So the next time you need one of these business-to-business relationships, please reach out to them, whether it be Total Seal piston rings or FTI performance transmissions and torque converters. You know, you go out there and you see FTI, Paul Lee running the FTI body. What does it all mean? It means if you have a very powerful machine with an automatic transmission, then FTI has got what you need. Reach out to them and tell them you heard about it on WFO, whether it be .90, big money brackets, street cars, Pro Mod, Top Sportsman, Top Dragster, FTI does it all. The folks at Foggit, so many cars had Foggit on the side participating in that contingency program this past weekend. Foggit, that is Foggit. It's Gary Stinnett, Steve Williams teaming up to create something, speaking of cylinder walls, that protects the inside of the cylinder walls. Foggit, Foggit. Look at this guy bringing me water. Thank you very much. Amazing stuff. The service is incredible. But if you can order a can at the website. You can order a case at the website. It's going to protect the inside of the engine. It is going to protect your firearms. It works on many other surfaces in addition to cylinder walls. Bernie's Speed Shop, BURNYZZ.com. This is Josh Hart. He hosted us for the big fan fest at the Gator Nationals. It was awesome. We had a great time, but it's really about American classic horsepower, frame off restoration. If you do movies and you need a prop, they do all kinds of amazing stuff from the ground up. Go to Bernie's social media, go to Bernie's website, find out more information, and you can see exactly what Bernie's is all about. And then, of course, Phillips Connect. Justin Ashley wins the race. Phillips-Connect, smart trailer technology for the transportation industry. Super cool to know that a brake light is out, a tail light is out, a wheel hub is heating up. You've got a brake air pressure problem. How loaded is it? Where is it? All of these things helping truckers and trucking industry people, transportation industry people be more efficient with what's going on. An ounce of prevention, pound of cure. You know that old cliche? Well, it is so true when you're thinking about thousands of pounds of vehicle going down the road and the time that can be saved by knowing something is going wrong instead of waiting for it to go wrong. Later on in the show, I'll tell you about samtech.edu. I'll tell you about Marvin Rodak. And, of course, I'll tell you about Frank Hawley's drag racing school. But let's bring on the voice of the NHRA, Alan Reinhart, going to join us now. There he is, Alan Reinhart. And, Alan, I'm not going to be able to hear you for a second. I'm going to do a little switcheroo. But give us your Arizona Nationals recap. It was a great and amazing race, but it had to be emotionally difficult for you, knowing that's where you started your career. You built your announcing skills. You had such great passion. I saw you walking around there, like soaking in the atmosphere as the race wound down.
I just want to point out to the Total Seal banner that I have hanging in my shop. I'm a customer too. Yeah, it was it was an emotional weekend. For now, it looks like it's going to be the last one. There are a lot of people that are trying to make connections, trying to set up meetings, trying to see if there's anything that can be done. But for now, it looks like it could have been the last one. And yeah, I mean, it's a place where I started my NHRA career. I actually started announcing at Tucson Dragway, but started my NHRA career. The old Tucson Dragway was not an NHRA affiliated track. The new one is, but. Yeah, it definitely was an interesting weekend. But if that was the last one, it was a great one. It was good competition all weekend long, from stock eliminator all the way through the top fuel final. and the weather was good. And how many times have we talked about it, right? Give us good weather and we'll take it from there. It was warm enough that you didn't need a jacket starting mid-morning or so, but it was still cool enough that you didn't feel like you were roasting out in the sun. The racers did what racers do. They took a couple of hits and kind of got a feel for the track, and then put on a heck of a show. And it was fun to watch. Anytime you have first-time winners, whether it's pro or sportsman, and we had both, that makes it special. Anytime that you have big name players battling it out, whether it's early rounds, whether it's late rounds, or whether it's final round like in Super Stock, I think that makes it special. And everything about it was just was a great event. If it's the last one, it was a great one. I hope it's not, but we'll see.
I hope it's not. And I think we're going to try very hard to make sure that it is not. The energy, the fans, so passionate about that facility. They got to see the first-time winner. We just spoke with Matt. He announced a new sponsorship with Getrix. Steve Bryson coming on board. That is really cool for them. They performed so well, but got cut down in the semifinals, losing to eventual race winner Camry Caruso. We've been talking about this young lady. She made her test hits right here at Wild Horse Pass, and it's fitting that she gets her first win at the same track.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting too that Camry gets her first win at a track where Alexis got her first win, and a track where Leah got her first win. So I don't know if it's something about just the racetrack and the female competitors feel comfortable here or have good fortune here, or maybe the Native American gods are just smiling on the lovely ladies when they're here. But I just thought that was an interesting kind of little piece of history.
Yeah, it's very interesting because I didn't know you were going back to Tucson. I thought maybe you're going straight up, but then again, it's only an hour or so. Justin Ashley in Top Fuel. Justin had a tough end to the countdown, right? It was kind of in the mix, in the battle, last couple races, lost first round, goes to the Gator Nationals, loses first round. I know some people were thinking like, oh, there it is, they've lost it. And a very important win for that team to say, no, we haven't lost anything. We had a couple of tough races. We changed some things in the offseason. We took a race to get it started. And just like that, they're on the board.
Yeah, I think that was big for them for a lot of reasons. You mentioned the way that they closed out the countdown last year and then going to Gainesville and having a first round exit, even though they looked like they had a pretty good car there. But qualifying was pretty wacky in Phoenix. There were a couple of pretty high horsepower teams, so to speak, that never really got a handle on the Arizona racetrack. When you look at Clay Millican, started, I believe, at a number 15 spot or 14 spot, that there were going to be some big time round one matchups. And, you look at Justin Ashley's day, if I'm not mistaken, 3 of the 4 drivers that he raced were former world champions. So nobody's going to tell him he backed into this one. They had a really good car. They made good decisions with it, and they were able to take the best advantage of the conditions.
Exactly. So we got a lot of questions out there in the chat section. I know you answered this on the Twitter machine already, but let's just what we can say. Okay, so it's amazing to me, Alan, how we can have that incredible event, Saturday sellout, Sunday sellout, first-time winners, amazing spectacle.
I'm listening. I'm just grabbing a cough drop real quick. Go ahead.
No, I got you. Go grab a cough drop, Alan. But what people want to know about, they want to know about the one thing that they don't get to know about, right? Which is Steve Torrence was animated after he got out of the car in the semifinal run. He was animated when talking to the safety safari. I know you put this out on Twitter, and it's funny. That's what people want to know. They want to know, we don't really care about Justin Ashley winning that amazing race and Robert Hight and Ron Capps in an unbelievable final round. All we want to know is what was Steve angry about. I talked to Steve. I know you know the information, and you put it out on Twitter. So what can you say for these people so that they can rest easy?
Well, apparently, and you can go back on the video and you can see some of the stuff if you want to go back and re-rack it. But apparently, after his blower exploded when he's coming down, the safety safari guys were coming out, and the truck pulled out in front of him. Steve had to take evasive action, and that's what he was upset about. That he figured that the guys are waving him in. He certainly should have the right of way. And there was a little miscommunication down there about when to send the safety safari truck. So they talked. Steve got out of the car. He was upset. Okay, he's got adrenaline going. He's got, hey, what do you guys do? He caught his breath. They spoke. It's a completely done deal. They put the issue to bed. There's no problem whatsoever going forward. And as I understand, it was a communication issue that when the truck driver pulled out a little bit sooner than I think he should have, or that he was, again, communication issue. I'm not pointing the finger at anybody particularly, but they talked about it. They settled it. It's over. Move on.
Well, there it is. And you got your answer on WFO radio. That's it. You're going to get the answers. And I spoke with Steve about it as well. And he said, he goes, Joe, honestly, he goes, in that moment, he goes, I get angry, but this wasn't anger. This was, he goes, I was scared for a second. It's like, I don't want to get into an incident on the top end. He goes, it's bumpy down there. He goes, I was going 150 miles an hour. People don't realize when the cars are going 330, of course, it's easy to identify they're going fast, but when they're going 150, that's still very, very fast down there in the shutdown area. I don't blame Steve at all. I've got his back on this one. And like you said, it's over, move on.
Yeah, I don't blame anybody. I think it was one of those deals. As I said, I believe it was a miscommunication, and it turned out okay. Lesson was learned, and let's move on down the road. Things like that are going to happen from time to time, and I've said the same thing a number of times about the speed. You sit there and watch the nitro cars go blasting down the racetrack, and then you look at the super stock cars or the super gas cars, and they look like they're crawling. But when's the last time you were going 145 miles an hour in a car, or 175 miles an hour on a super comp car? When something goes wrong, it's still a pretty high rate of speed that things are going wrong. So fortunately, nothing really bad happened. A lesson was learned, a conversation was had, and it's over.
And it's over. Exactly. Let's go in depth on Funny Car, where Robert Hight picks up the win over Ron Capps. And so that's great news. Number 1 and 2 from a year ago, battling each other in the final round of the final Arizona Nationals. Robert comes out on top, 393. Those guys stayed and tested. Jimmy, you win the race, you stay and test. Yep, they are very, very aggressive this year. Robert gets through Chad Green, who had another great race. Daniel Wilkerson tuning that car very well. Gets through Bob Tasca. Gets through John Force. What a day at the office for Robert Hight. I talked to him. We'll hear that interview coming up in a little bit. He's like Erica was motivated by Greg Anderson's win the previous year. Robert Hight is highly motivated here in 2023.
He is, and feels like one got away. And he had a car last year that certainly was capable of winning a championship. But when it came right down to it, they just couldn't quite close the deal. I just think it's really interesting that you look at, the power players from last year. Matt Hagan wins the first race of the year, and then Hight and Capps run in the final in the second race of the year. Bob Tasca is the number 1 qualifier. I mean, the top 4 cars haven't gone anywhere, but there's going to be some company there. JR's got him a good car out there right now. Looks like he has a better car than he had last year. Cruz Pedregon ended the season very strong, had an ignition gremlin that took him out of the event here this year. But the interesting thing about Robert Hight, I thought was the best stat of the weekend for the funny cars. He sucked in qualifying, and he told me that. But he qualified at like a 420 something. And I mean, didn't even come close to 300 miles an hour. Last year, the entire year, 2 races, they didn't qualify. They didn't make a 3-second run in qualifying. They qualified at 4 point something twice. And both times they won the race. And that was Seattle and Richmond. This year in Arizona, they qualified with a 422 and they won the race. If I'm Jimmy Prock, I'm qualifying, 410 every time I can go out there. But it's just really interesting. And speaking with both Robert and Jimmy, they weren't experimenting in qualifying. They didn't go in there and go, okay, there's 16 cars. We don't have to worry about it. Let's try this, because we don't care. They had been working on a new combination, some different stuff, and were pretty close to just throwing the whole thing away, or at least putting it back on the shelf to going into Sunday. But, Robert said that, he and Jimmy kind of talked a little bit and said, no, you know what? You believe in this enough. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's see what we got to do to make it work. And obviously in round 1, they had to run the boss, and they were able to step up and make it work. And then from that point on, they had the car that they should have had in qualifying.
Yeah, it was interesting. Some people out there suggesting, it was the track prep where it needed to be. The first couple of days of qualifying, not a lot of cars were getting down the racetrack. But I spoke with Richard Hartman, and he said, the grippo is right where we need it to be. The numbers, the way it looks, the way it feels is right where we need it to be. And they were just kind of perplexed. It wasn't, there's not enough prep. Wasn't what crew chiefs were saying, at least, privately. They weren't saying that.
No, and it's an interesting conundrum, especially when you've got a racetrack that only sees cars like this, once a year. And with only 3 qualifying sessions, Safety Safari does an amazing job. The tractors are a tremendous tool, but there is nothing that prepares a racetrack like a nitro car going down the racetrack. And in years past, it's the same thing when they would come in here for testing and preseason testing, and we've seen it in Vegas, and you've seen it down in Florida, a number of tracks. The first day usually is kind of like, because you have to send cars down the racetrack in order to prep the racetrack for the event. And after enough cars go down the racetrack, there's a couple things working against it. One, with no alcohol cars, so you don't have the injected nitro machines that have exactly the same tire that Top Fuel does. And with only 3 qualifying sessions, it just takes a couple of runs for the track to come in. But I think that we saw a Saturday afternoon and certainly on Sunday that the track came around and the racers put on a heck of a show.
Yes, they really did. And also in the Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge, I thought we had, when it became competitive, when you had to get down, they got further down. They didn't get all the way down. But what did you think about that program, Alan? The first ever, the inaugural, we got to experience it. We talked about it certainly a lot during the off season, but now we saw it in action. The fans were into it. The drivers were into it. And racing on Saturday is pretty great as far as I'm concerned, but give me your perspective.
I agree. I like the fact that there's real competition taking place and there are real tangible results for winning, whether it's the cash or whether it's points that you're going to get later in the year when we reset for the countdown. I think it's a great program. I think that it gives, I love the fact that we can sit here right now, as you did with Matt, and say, are you looking forward to your rematch? Because there are times in NHRA where, Matt and Camry run head to head, Camry wins the thing, and then maybe they don't race again for the next 4 or 5 races. Just the way the ladder shakes out, they never get a chance to go head to head. Well, now, if you get to the semis, which obviously is when you're starting to get, to the money time, if you win or lose that race, you've got another opportunity next weekend to go head to head with the same person for a little, revenge, redemption, or look, I whooped you once, I'm going to whoop you again. And I think it's really something for the fans to look forward to on Saturday, knowing you are going to see cars racing for real with genuine prizes, out there for whoever wins.
Genuine prizes. It's amazing stuff. Watching it all go down, the show, the spectacle, I thought it was pretty great. Let's talk about some of the other race winners. Bruno Massel. Bruno is working on television, taking breaks, racing his comp car, and he wins Comp Eliminator. Now, I know there wasn't a ton of cars there, but I'm not taking anything away from Bruno. That was pretty spectacular.
Yeah, it was nice to see Bruno get the win. He certainly had, a great car. And, with Ryan Pretty, who was the reigning world champion in the category, broke in qualifying, was unable to come. So would it have played out differently if Ryan was there? Who knows? But, the bottom line is Bruno beat everybody that lined up against him. And, he made no bones about the fact that he wants to be a 4-time Comp Eliminator champion. And he is kind of, put the effort in this year. He's going to chase it. So, he had to be in Arizona to work anyway. There's a lot of people that, I guarantee you, a lot of people, he went out there because everybody was going down to Houston chasing the Brogdon money. And so he went out there, just figured he could, a little easy, easy pickings. No, he was there because he had to work. That's why he was there. And he was able to go ahead and race as well. But he wasn't skipping Houston because he was afraid of racing down in Houston. Believe me, he'd love to take some of Roger's money home with everybody else. He was in Phoenix because he had to work. And while he was there, he got an opportunity to run the race car.
The Brogdon money. It's like the center of the universe for Comp Eliminator. We got a guy, he's like, what's up with the Comp Eliminator out west? Is everybody just piling into Division 4? Well, if you've got a comp car, right, if you've got a comp car, Roger Brogdon in Division 4, because of the Brogdon money, has gravity. Why would you not? Why would you not? And if that's the center of the universe for Comp Eliminator, then okay.
If I had a comp car, that's where I'd go. I mean, the bonuses that he's putting up, and not only the race wins, but the year-end stuff is tremendous. And if you're going to spend the money to race anyway, let me tell you, a few extra gallons of diesel fuel to take a chance at making a lot of extra money. I mean, the winner of this deal doesn't go home with an extra $500. The winner of this deal goes home with 6 figures. And why wouldn't you go down and chase that? And that's, what the business side of the racers are doing.
Brad Burton in Stock Eliminator. Brad Burton in Super Stock, excuse me. Jody Lang in Stock Eliminator. Tom Bayer in Super Comp. Chris Bishop in Super Gas, his first win, made his first runs there. Said he was going to get his first win there, and he did. That was awesome. Sammy Gonzalez in Top Sportsman, and Chad Axford getting his second win, 2 for 2 in finals in Right Trailer's Top Dragster. Any final thoughts on the event? I know you hung out with Charlie Allen a little bit. That had to be really cool. And I am hoping beyond hope that that outpouring showed some people in the local community that this is exactly part of the local community, and we can't lose that energy. But you never know, so just put a point on it.
Well, we'll see what happens going down the road. I thought the Super Stock final was spectacular when you've got two guys of that caliber, and the fact that they both won the race. And I'm talking about Kyle Rizzoli was in the other lane, and they both won the race in 2020, one in stock and one in Super Stock. But then Burton goes perfect on the tree and runs dead too. It's like, that's just mean. But there was activity like that in the sportsman ranks, all weekend long. But I thought, if it was the last one, I think they did a tremendous job putting on a show. I loved the exhibition machines, the wheel standards at the end of the day. That's more jet cars, I think, than we've had in one place in how many years? So the fans that came out got their money's worth, and everything about it. The weather was good, the crowd was good, the racing was good. If it's the last one, then it'll be one to remember. I'm not sure it'll replace Phoenix '92 for greatest race of all time, but I did have a lot of people ask me about that.
Yeah, well, that's that's got a historic position in the annals of NHRA for 1,000 reasons, right? It's like, why was that the craziest race? Because so many unbelievable stats came out of that one event. You want to throw a couple of them out there for the newbies?
Well, it was just it became the answer to every question that has no answer. And there was just so much stuff that happened there. Pat Austin doubled. It was only the second time that had ever happened. There were a lot of winners there. David Rampy won the event. And I think if you're thinking to yourself, yeah, so what? David Rampy's won 100 events. Yeah, but at that time, he'd won like 3. And Scotty Richardson won the event when people were going, who's this kid from Texas? And obviously, he turned out to be pretty good as well. But it was just, there were so many little nuances. One of the things I remember from my National Dragster story, the final 4 in Funny Car all came from the bottom half of the field. The top 8 were gone by the time we'd gone through 2 rounds, and that happens like almost never. So there were just a lot of little things out there that happened during that event that made it fun and made it stand out.
Yeah, amazing stuff. But this one stood out for the fans. The fans were Sunday sellout, Saturday sellout, the biggest track walk in the history of all track walks, judged by Jason Logan. Just amazing. And then right through race day and that celebration on the starting line where everybody gathered around the stage. They didn't want to go home. You could see it. They didn't want to go home. And because the track is their home, right? They felt the connection to the facility and they stayed. Yeah.
Well, if you live in the area, it's not like the place is closed tomorrow. They do still have events on the calendar for the next couple of months. It's not too late to go out there and support your local racetrack if you want to do that. Or if you want to make a 4-hour drive, come on over to Pomona. It looks like it's going to be mid-60s, the extended forecast. And if that's the case, then Pomona is going to be holy smokes fast, and can't wait to get started. It won't be long. I've already got checked in for my flight tomorrow.
The In-N-Out Burger Drag Strip at Pomona. The In-N-Out Burger Pomona Drag Strip is the official name. And there have been some updates and some changes and some things looking really fresh and exciting. And someone in the chat section had put up that, that Cruz and Tony and Tim have kind of had a tough start to the season, et cetera, and so on. I don't think you can judge the start of the season until after Pomona. We have 3 races in a row. Then we'll take a week off for the Easter break. I think you will judge the start of the season by these 3 races, not 2 of the 3. So there's a lot of teams out there that are trying to, get on the board in this start of season swing out west with Arizona and Pomona.
Well, it's certainly not time to push the panic button for anybody. But if I've gone through the first 2 races and I haven't seen a win light yet, then I'm, we're having a team meeting. I want to at least make sure everybody understands that, we need to start getting this ball rolling. You know, we've got Pomona, we got a week, we got Phoenix, and then everybody catch their breath a little bit when we head back east. So yeah, I mean, it's certainly not time to hit the panic button yet. But if I haven't won round one yet, I'm a little concerned. But I'm also looking at the fact that in Top Fuel, just to pick an example, the two guys that raced in the final on Sunday in Phoenix, both were out round one in Gainesville. So that's how quickly you can turn around. If you just make sure you keep focused on what you need to do, keep doing your job, get the car going down the racetrack, you know, it can come back around just that quick.
Absolutely. All right, Alan, I will see you in a couple days. We're going to do it all again at the Lucas Oil Winter Nationals, at the In-N-Out Burger Pomona Drag Strip. I'm hearing there's going to be In-N-Out trucks there. I don't know. It just kind of makes sense that there might be an In-N-Out truck.
That's not a rumor. That's absolutely.
Good. There better be more than one, because I think everybody's going to be jazzed. We're going to be doubling it all.
Don't worry. There'll be plenty. And I think, you know, I tell you, you're going to get kicked off the White Castle deal. I know you're a White Castle guy. You're just jumping on the In-N-Out bandwagon here because, you know, you're out west for a couple of weeks. So
people who know me know that I have always been an In-N-Out person when I'm on the West Coast. That's the thing. It's not available to us on the East Coast. So it's like this forbidden fruit, right? You can't get it. And everybody knows that they want what they can't get. And I can't get it. You know what else I can't get in South Florida, Alan? I can't get White Castle either. I can't get either of them. White Castle, Midwest, way out west, In-N-Out, totally different kind of atmosphere. Time of day is a big deal. I am more than happy to to serve two masters when it comes to my burger addiction. I can do that.
All right. Well, I've got an In-N-Out like right over there. So maybe I'll go get a tune-up today before I head to California. There's one not too far from where you're standing right now too. So, you know, it's not like you go, oh, I can't wait for 3 more days. You don't have to.
No, but you know, I want to have it at the track. I want to have that experience, eating a double at the track with the In-N-Out logos up on our drag strip. That relationship, it's just so great. You remember when we first started this deal when I was on XM Satellite Radio? It was a national show, and so the communication about In-N-Out Burger happened all the time. It was before they had expanded to Texas, and it's just got such a cool vibe. And they are total car culture, hot rod culture, a burger stand. You know, like they got started at a drag strip. Why would they not be? They have been involved with drag racing many times over the year. Oh, yeah. They are drag racers. And so this only makes sense. I'm super excited. One of the big exciting things of 2023.
Yeah, Lindsay is a very big car person, and she's a very big supporter of NHRA and always has been. When, you know, the opportunity came up for her to put the company name on the side of that drag strip, I don't think there was anything in the world was going to stand in her way. So really cool. I don't know if she'll be out there racing or not, but you know, she does have some pretty nice race cars as well. So hopefully we'll see her out there in competition. I think that'd be great. There's something about when the sponsors come out and get more involved than just writing a check. And Lindsay always has been way more involved than just writing a check. So if she can come out and compete, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, and here it is, Irwindale, the original In-N-Out track burger. And Cameron Evans got me up to speed. His dad running Irwindale and the whole In-N-Out phenomenon. Just an amazing, amazing hot rod car culture California story. And now they have merged. The worlds have come together at In-N-Out Burger Drag Strip at Pomona. Amazing stuff. Alan, great job as usual. Great job calling the race. And the thank you to the fans. You know, you always laugh. Like, did it look like I had emotions? Right? It did look like you had emotions. You did a great job. A lot of people were talking about it. You laid it out on the line, and everybody appreciated it.
Well, thank you. It's nice of you to say. I got a lot of feedback on that as well through social, through email, and through other contacts. But you know, I was at that place the night it opened as far as for drag racing. You know, obviously got my NHRA announcing start there. Met people, made contacts, got opportunities. But during the course of my time over the years at that facility, they had a dirt circle track for a while. I don't know how many people even remember that, but I announced out there. They ran sand drags on a regular basis for a number of years. I announced the sand drags. I did the boat races, and I'm still involved with drag boat racing, and all of that started up there at Firebird Lake, which, by the way, it still is Firebird Lake, even though it's Wild Horse Pass Raceway Park, because the lake was there before the rest of it, and so they didn't change the name of the lake. But everything about that place was just, it was a big part. And I've told the story, and it's really gospel true. I had a 1970 Roadrunner, had a 440 in it, 5,000 stall converter, 488 gears, and that was the only car I had. I drove it during the week, and I'd drive it out to Tucson Dragway on Saturday and race it, and then drive it to work the next week. I actually used to pull it into the shop when I was working. It was an equipment rental company here where I was working. I used to pull it in the shop Saturday at lunchtime. I'd put slicks on it, take the mufflers off of it, and then at 5 o'clock, I'd punch the clock, and I'd haul out to the racetrack, and I'd race it, and I'd drive it home. And then on Monday at lunchtime, I'd pull the thing into the shop, and I'd put the mufflers back on it, and I'd put the street tires back on it to drive for the rest of the week. But it wasn't a car that I could drive down the freeway to go to, what was at the time Firebird. It was 125 or 30 miles from where I was living. And there's just no way. This wasn't a car that was going to go down the freeway that far. And if I got up there and broke it, how the heck would I ever get it home? And so, that was not just kind of out of the question. But a friend of mine was going up to race, and there was nothing going on down here that weekend. I jumped in the back of the pickup and went up to Phoenix with him. Just figured hanging out at the racetrack is better than hanging out not at the racetrack. And whoever the guy was that was supposed to be their announcer that day didn't show up. And somebody said, the kid that announces in Tucson's here. And Joe Thaden, who was the track manager, said, we'll send him up. So I went up and I announced that race. And he came up to me at the end of the night and he said, look, I need somebody I can count on. If you're willing to come up here and work, he said, I'll pay you. And second thing was a week out or a couple weeks out, maybe they were having a Jet Funny Car deal, big thing. And Johnny Moto was kind of their major event announcer there. And he said, I think you and Johnny would get along well. If you do, then, maybe you can do some of the major stuff and work with him. And I said, sure. And I had to make a deal, didn't buy, but I had to make a deal so I could find myself a car I could drive back and forth to Phoenix, and ended up trading a set of cylinder heads for a 1974 Pinto. And that was my freeway car, so I could drive back and forth to Phoenix, and that started my announcing career. It's literally changed the course of my life.
Amazing. And Johnny Moto was out there as well. He and his daughter and his family were helping out with the event. Just amazing. And, I've lost 2 of my drag strips that have been a big cornerstone in my life. And I know it hurts so badly, and watch everybody maybe go through that is terrible, but sharing stories like that is helpful. It's cathartic, if you will. But we got to stop this nonsense with losing the racetracks, and big sold out crowds like that will hopefully help not to. Alan, great job. We'll see you in a few days.
All right, Joe, travel safe. We'll see you soon.
There he goes, the voice of the NHRA. Alan Reinhart joins us each week right here on WFO Radio. We are on location at the Total Seal Factory, and it is pretty great. We're going to do a hidden horsepower episode. Hartford already broke a little news that Getrik's going to be on board with his Pro Stocker this weekend. Also mentioned a little something about one of the ZMAX brands later on in the year. People want to get on board with a fast car. That's the way it works. But also, what we're going to do is we're going to hear from some of our race winners. So whenever I'm on the road like this, it's easier for me to go out there and do an interview at the pit. We're going to do that. And then I'm going to want your comments on the race. I'm going to want to hear what you have to say on the race. But first, I want to tell you about the people who make it possible for me to go WFO, like Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. Having a great conversation with Tony Stewart yesterday. I had heard on WFO from Matt Hagan that Tony was driving an alcohol funny car at Frank Hawley's. And he's like, yep, I was down there doing the alcohol funny car thing, and body came down and all that. Frank Hawley is the person that the drivers go to for deep thought and instruction. So why would you not take that opportunity and be on the Dragster Adventure, right? They travel around the country. Courses start at approximately $399. You get multiple runs. Go drive a dragster. Have that life experience. FrankHawley.com, and call them and tell them you heard about it on WFO Radio. Really love Frank and what they're doing, and he is just a big part of NHRA drag racing, whether out there or not out there. Samtech.edu, kind of a similar situation, except for people who are looking to advance their career, engine building, machining. I'm surrounded by piston rings here, engine blocks, and all that stuff. None of that happens without qualified, knowledgeable, experienced machinists. Where are they going to come from? Who's going to do this job? Who's going to keep it going? We need competent, knowledgeable, educated machinists. And many of them are coming through samtech.edu. Not only that, but you can learn to program CNC machines. You can get EFI tuning courses. Great stuff. Call Brian Massengill. Go to the website, samtech.edu, and then reach out by phone. Call Brian Massengill. Say, Costello told me to call you by name, Brian. Brian, I want to go to the school. I want to learn more about the school. I want to take a tour down there in the Houston, Texas area. Check them out, samtech.edu. And then there's Marvin Rodak. My buddy Marvin, 817-924-6821. Marvin Rodak's coffeeandgrills.com. The hot sauces and the spice rubs and everything is so good down there at Rodak. And he is super happy. Rodak making bets out there, and the bets are coming in. We're going to learn a little bit more about that as we get closer to the Stampede of Speed, where our WFO Patreon meetup is going to happen this year. Of course, Marvin is going to be out there as well. But if you want to support our show, there's a lot of things you can do. You can buy some swag. You can get the shirt, the 10th anniversary shirt and Hot Rod Randy's. You can go to our merch store and buy a shirt. You can support our sponsors. But if you want to get on board, just order some coffee from Marvin, 817-924-6821. Certainly, if you need piston rings, go to Total Seal. The guys at Foggett are on board. We appreciate that. New stuff happening with Project Pontiac. And then there's our Patreon VIP listener group. If you join for the year at any level, I'll send you a t-shirt in addition to the decals and the patch that you get typically. But this is a VIP listener club, and they get extra stuff. They get Monday Motivation. I did Monday Motivation for them yesterday. They were the first to know about what was going on behind the scenes. Told the Patreons, because it's like a group of inner circle friends, right? Told the Patreons what was going on, and now all that information has leaked out. But patreon.com/WFO radio. All right, let's go and try our best to make it happen with our winner views. It's pretty cool to see the winners get the score victories in this first race of the year. Simple as that. So let's start off with Robert Hight. Robert Hight beats Ron Capps in the final round. There was a lot of extra going on there. Robert mentioned a couple of things. Capps had said at Gainesville, we put it out there, that he was just tired of hearing about the countdown, rightfully so. Robert has now said, yeah, let's put 2022 behind us as well with a great victory. So let's try to hear the interview from Robert Hight on location at Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park. All right, here we go. We're rolling already. I love the atmosphere, right? Like the atmosphere of the funny car winner, Robert Hight. Tell me about this win, Robert. This is huge.
This was big. Honestly, I felt like we had a car that could have won Gainesville, and, pretty dejected of having to lose second round with a throttle cable issue. So, and then we get here and gualifying didn't go well. This Flavor Pack team is not used to qualifying in the bottom half. But you just never give up on these guys. The guys that are behind you are Jimmy and Nate and Thomas. They dug deep and low ET 4 times today. And we're holding the last Wally ever at Arizona for funny cars. Pretty amazing. Maybe it'll come back, who knows. But we did our job so far. And I guess they said that we're leading the points. So, that's big this time of year. Big races all day today with John Ford and Tasca and Chad Green, who's really come up and doing well, and then the champ in the final. So proud of these guys. It's a little different look with Flavor Pack. I don't even recognize myself, but I want to thank Frank Teague for stepping up and buying these races. And then we're going to be in a few days at Pomona with the familiar colors of the Automobile Club of Southern California.
That's great. That Auto Club is back on the car, obviously, In-N-Out Burger drag strip. It's going to be great. Talk about Jimmy and Thomas Prock. That's kind of an interesting father and son. Thomas was very emotional on the starting line. Young man dreaming of drag racing with his dad, and he gets to do it and win a race.
He's a very intelligent young man, okay? He takes after his dad. And, Chris Cunningham, he was a big part of all these wins. And, it's not the same without Chris here, okay? We can definitely tell we're, learning curve. But it is cool to see Thomas and Nate Hildahl, guys that are moving up, okay? And, promoting within rather than going outside and hiring people. We're promoting within, and these guys deserve a shot. And as you can see, they've already proved themselves, okay? They know how to get this job done with Jimmy Prock leading it. and it's just fun to see that. It's refreshing to see these guys learning, and they're the future, okay? They're going to be the next crew chiefs, the next Jimmy Brock.
Yeah, we need that. All right, Florida represented, sold out races. Arizona represented, sold out races. We're going to the Lucas Oil Winter Nationals, home state of Robert Hight. What do you got to say to the California drag racing fans?
Well, here we come. Okay, guys, in California, let's not embarrass ourselves. Phoenix and Florida, they did amazing jobs. Let's pack the stands again and put on a great show for the California fans.
Robert, congratulations on your win, huge win. I know we're just getting started, but you're on the board.
Yep, got to win this early. That's a big deal.
There you go. Congratulations. Thank you. It was Robert Hight. And let's go walk around the pit for a second. Let's check out everybody. Look at these guys. Look at these guys. Oh, yeah. Oh, the work doesn't stop just because you win.
Never.
Never stops, right?
Never stop.
Don't stop. Get it, get it. Yes, sir. Great weekend. And there you have it. How about that? Looks so good out there. I always get a little worried though, guys. And if you're watching in the future and you can't hear the audio, it is because those social media companies, like they hear a song in the background, like 50 feet in the background, and air wrenches all over the top of it. And they say they don't care. We're going to block out all the audio of the interview, which I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but you never know. You never know. And since we're doing an on-location broadcast, anything is possible. All right. So that was Robert Hight, a tremendous victory. Let's hear from Camry Caruso. Camry, who got her first victory in Pro Stock in her 21st race. That is pretty insane. Gets the first win for KB Titan, the new merged company. I don't know how many people had Camry on their scorecard getting the first win, but she did it. Now this young lady racer knows how to win. Let's hear from Camry Caruso. And here we go, the first ever winner view of Miss Camry Caruso. You won your first Pro Stock race. So it's sinking in right now. Everybody always says, it hasn't sunk in, it hasn't sunk in. So tell me about this moment.
It was really awesome. All of my partners, all my teammates, all my sponsors, everything, family, friends. It's just been really great, and I'm really thankful for the support and the opportunity. And we're going to try and do it again next week.
Yeah, you don't have to wait very long to go after it again. And we got the bonus race you're going to be in on that as well. So talk about race day, though. The going through the process. You had to run some KB Titan cars. You had to run some elite cars.
Derek Kramer first round, then Christian Quadra, and then Hartford, and then Bo Butner. And they're all amazing racers, and I'm just so thankful to be out here racing against them, and we're going to hope to continue it on. Okay, so take me back, like, all right, pandemic, you and your dad start the show, and you're on there having fun doing the live stream, and like this whole Pro Stock idea, like, we're going to run Pro Stock, and then here we are now. You're a teammate to Greg Anderson, and you've won a race. It hasn't been that long. I think this was your 24th Sorry,
race.
that was one of my team dudes.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You can do this is what the whole atmosphere here. Everybody is here. I think this is it.
I think this is my 21st race, because there was 19 last year, and then Gainesville and here.
Yep.
And it's been really awesome, and to think that we did it in such a short time is just unbelievable. From Super Comp to here, to Top Dragster to here, and Dad running, and then me. It's just awesome.
It is. Okay, so how do you build upon this? Like, using this experience now, they say you got to learn how to win. You got to learn how to win.
We learned how to win.
You learned how to win.
Continue on winning.
Right? You feel like it'll bring more will come easier because now you know what to do.
Now we know we can do it.
What would you tell yourself now if you could go back to yourself yesterday? Like, what was the...
Don't worry so much.
Really?
Yes.
You were worried?
I was, because Mike and Dave, who tuned my car, they have been together for years with Tanner Gray, and they have so much success with him, and I didn't want to let them down because they know how to win.
Yep.
Now I need to know how to win.
Right, and now you know how to win.
There we go.
That's awesome. Camry, congratulations. Anything else you want to say to everybody out there in the WFO universe now that you are a winner?
Thank you for all the support, and more to come, hopefully.
All right, congratulations.
Have a good day.
Later. Camry Caruso, first win Camping World Pro Stock. She got the job done, jumped on the scene, and has now won a race. And there's such a big difference between someone who has won a race and someone who has not won a race. The knowing you can do it. Can I do this? Yeah, yes, you can do it. And she did it. And she's got a quick and fast hot rod. And she mentions Dave and Mike and, you know, Team Tanner Gray World Championship. That's her team now. Pretty amazing. And so she was kind of carrying a little extra burden because of that. And she was able to shake off the burden pretty easily with a win in race 2 of 2023. All right, we're going to go with another winner view. And this one, I mentioned to Mike Green on the starting line, a sorely needed round win. And he was like, well, we're only 2 races in. But that, going back to last year, in the eyes of the fans, they remember tough end to 2022, tough start to the first race of 2023. That's when people start asking questions. They're like, well, you know, what's going on? What's the situation? We got enough problems. We already won a race. Let's hear from Justin Ashley.
Here, look who's joining us right now. Here he is, the guy.
WFO live.
Yeah, let's go over here so we don't get that music in the background. And the YouTube people don't kill our video. We just spoke with Mike. Let's turn around.
Yes,
Let's get right here so the sun is on his face.
Thank
there he is. So just like last year, a first round and a win in the first 2 races.
Yeah, this time it was reversed. We lost in the first round, the first race, won this race, and it's a testament to this crew, man. It's not easy to be resilient, but our Phillips Connect team is very resilient. A first round exit last week, a win this week. Now we got to keep that momentum going. So we're going to stop, enjoy this one, take a deep breath, and take it all in. But then our focus is going to shift tomorrow right over to Pomona.
It's kind of weird in that we just started the season, and it used to be like you kind of, the first few races, you eased into it. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore.
I think we have no choice. The competition out there is so good. There is still some easing into it. I think it takes probably about 3 races before everything on and off the racetrack is squared away and you feel comfortable and you feel like you're on a roll. But we had to be on a mission. Iron sharpens iron. And the competition out here is so difficult, it's so tough. It takes a team, but we have a great team. So I'm just glad that we got off to another hot start this year, and now it's up to us to continue that momentum moving forward.
Iron sharpens iron. Where'd you get that?
I think Elon Werner told me that quote. Or the tide rises, we got to rise with it, right? I'm just going to keep pulling them out of the hat, the quotes. But man, what a fun day. Just a fun day.
All right, so weird stuff. You had never beaten Tony Schumacher, and you beat him.
Yeah.
There's all those championships, and Steve Torrence has never beaten you, and you beat him.
Well, I've definitely never beaten Tony before, and he's the 8-time champ for a reason. He beat us here round 1 last year, so it was actually a rematch. So that was cool. I have a ton of respect for him, and thank you all the winning that he's done. And our crew chief Mike Green used to tune him, but actually, I think they said we were 8-0 against Steve, maybe the last 8 times. But before that, I think he beat us 20 times. So we might still be working on trying to catch up on that win-loss record.
Last 8.
The last 8. But he beat us. He beat a lot of other people too. But that guy's tough, man. You got to step it up against him. And another Team Toyota car. So happy to get that win as well.
This Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge. Are we making too big a deal of it? I felt like I said it 100 times. But you got a chance to get championship points next week because of this performance.
Definitely not making too big of a deal out of it. I mean, it's like you said, it's a chance to collect championship points. It's a chance to walk away with another check and another trophy, and that's what our Phillips Connect team wants to do. Also, we'll be at Pomona, and it's Phillips Connect home race, so the opportunity to race in a shootout there just benefits us that much more. So definitely not making too big of a deal out of it. All the drivers take it very seriously.
Sipping on my
If you don't know this guy, he's Tommy Galago of Beef Jerky Unlimited. So go online, beefjerkyunlimited.com. Make sure you get all your beef jerky needs taken care of.
The way online?
Listen, you can order online. You know what? Do a subscription. You can do a subscription as well.
You get a jerky subscription?
Order online.
Well, they're not there yet, but in the next 3 weeks we should have
Well, I'm
subscriptions
forecasting.
But you know what it is about beef jerky right now? It's about one of the baddest drivers in the pits. And he makes the job for crew chief so much easier. I love you,
this
brother.
guy. I love
Don't
you
talk,
too.
Justin. Let's just hear Tommy D do his thing, man.
I don't have anything, man.
That's it. Tommy
I
D.
work for Mike Green. Best guy I could work for. He listens to things I have to say, but I also listen to what he has to say. And it's just a great marriage.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tommy D and Justin.
I love you.
Doing
We miss
videos. Later, buddy.
Thank you, Joe. WFO Radio, the place to go for breaking news.
How about that with the plug? the plug at the end. That was something special. I appreciate that. I need to do a better job going around chasing liners and like, hey, my name is Joe Costello, and when I'm not eating a ham hock sandwich, I am checking out WFO Radio on wherever you happen to be listening. But a huge win. I've also got an interview I'm going to try to play with Mike Green. Spoke with Mike a little bit before, spoke with Justin, as you probably saw there. I am a little concerned about the music in the background, guys. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Let's find out, and we'll see what happens. Talk to Mike Green first. There we go, Mike Green. You just won. Did you really race at Firebird Lake in a drag boat?
I didn't drive a drag boat, but I worked on.
You were the crew guy.
Yeah, and actually, for a guy named Glenn Hutchison, I worked for his dad at his machine shop, Rex Hutchison Racing Engines in Sacramento. And then while I worked there, a guy named Jim Epler said, "Hey, will you build me an engine?"
Get out.
And the owner said, "You can build me an engine, but we race at Arias, so you can't build him at Arias." So I said, "All right, I'll do it." And we built him a Brad Anderson 426 Hemi. First time we ran the boat was here, and on his license run, he ran right on the national record. Yeah, it took him a while to learn how to drive it, but the boat was pretty fast.
Yeah, I guess so. So
I kind of went drag racing, quit boat racing.
Yeah, that's it. The track doesn't move.
Yeah, right.
Moving track on the water.
And there was a lot of bad times in drag boat racing back then because there was no capsules,
right?
Right. Yeah,
so how?
But yeah, no, I was here racing way before I started really drag racing.
That's amazing. So how emotional is this win for you?
Oh, it's great. It's great. It's really, I just hope somehow they figure it out. That we can keep racing here because the fans are great and
if nobody was into it or nobody was showing up, that would be one thing.
Right.
But we had a packed house.
Yeah, it was, and it's so many fans. Just how much they enjoyed it, and how much they'd love to see it again. So hopefully we can figure that out. But it was a great win for our team. Justin did a great job. Tommy and I, in Gainesville, we didn't run very good, and we tested a lot of stuff over the winter, and a lot of it didn't work. But we came here, and even when we qualifying here, we weren't great, but we got enough runs on race day to learn. So, the final was a good run. I don't know what happened to their car. It slowed down a little bit. I expected it to go pretty quick, but great win for the team. Justin, as usual, just drives like a maniac.
He's great awesome, on the starting line.
Yeah. So great win for the team, and great win for all of us. For, second race of the year, and we went out first round and won a race, so try to smooth that out a little bit.
Yeah, try to smooth that out a little bit, and they did. They smoothed it out a little bit. Last year, they had won the first race, lost first round at the second race. This year, they lose first round in the first race and win the second race. Let's see what people have to say out there, guys. Your comments in the comment section. And I'm actually trying to download one more video. I don't know if it's going to work or it's not going to work. But if not, we'll get to it next week. That's why we do this kind of show. We get to it next week as we are on location here at Total Seal Piston Rings. Going to be doing a little Hidden Horsepower later on today. So go download the Hidden Horsepower podcast. You can hear from Eddie Granaccia, talk pro stock and be heavy pro stock. We're going to maybe connect with Michael Heiner, do a little hear it from Heiner on Hidden Horsepower as he is somewhere drinking a Mai Tai with an umbrella in the beverage. It's pretty much what I understand is happening with Michael Heiner. But let's see what you guys have to say out there. Rick, who was here at the race, so he claims. Gotta love drag boats. Right, Rick? You were out here. I remember getting some messages from fans out there in, incredible history on our team, all divine intervention. That's got to be Mike Ashley. Mike, I'm trying to download the video that you did. It's going to get on the air. But we'll see. We'll see. Nice. Iron sharpens iron. And a big congratulations to Elin Werner. Elin is a behind the scenes character, but not really. He emerges every once in a while. Has been on WFO a few times. Yeah, it's Mike. What's up, Mike? Yeah, I got to show the shoes, Mike. I got to get him on there. It's not downloading for whatever reason. I guess because we're uploading so much stream right now. I can't download it exactly at the same time. Makes perfect sense. But Elin Werner gets his first ever Werner Communications double. Double ups are a big deal. John Force has had a bunch, and Schumacher had like so many double ups. Elin gets his first Werner Communications double up with Camry and Justin. And that was just awesome. Congratulations. Doing a great job. But he's the one who comes up with iron sharpens iron. Like, I can't help but think of Ivan Drago, right? He is like a piece of iron. I must break him. Am I allowed to do that anymore? Voices? Probably bad. I shouldn't do that. Let's see. Jimmy Ryan says the race is awesome. Congratulations to Justin Ashley on the win. Hope Allen's Pinto had a V8. Alan Reinhardt had a Pinto as a highway car, like a new layer revealed. We're unfolding the layers. Terry, Pro Stock was awesome. Camry did a great job. Can't wait until Charlotte when we see Terry again, which is going to be awesome. What else? I can't believe that Camry Caruso got her first win in NHRA Pro Stock. See, I can. There's a lot of effort behind her. She's a third generation racer. She thinks about drag racing all of the time, and Disney, and she got it done. Great job. In-N-Out Burger animal style. Yeah, I like just saying secret menu items. Really, the answer is I like the standard In-N-Out double with cheese and onions, fries. But there's something to be said about ordering from a secret menu and going up and being like, give me the double with cheese, fries. You just say animal and kick it out. In California, people think it's dumb. They all know about the secret menu. But 15 years ago, when not everybody knew about the secret menu, it was a big deal. This guy says, Joe Costello overheard a guy at the track say that a guy announcing the jet cars loves his job. First-time drag race fan from Canada. Well done, dude. I don't know who this is because you got to sign in when you're in the group on Facebook. That's fine. But thank you for telling me that. Jason Logan and I had a great time with the Jet Car Show. And I know it's polarizing. It's polarizing. For every person that likes something, there is an equal number of people who don't like it. We had fun with this for ourselves. Jason did an amazing impromptu song that was just off the top of his head about the jet cars to the theme of Chariots of Fire. And we were laughing hysterically. And of course, I've got my shtick of my Jet Car Joe act that I do to make it crazy, at the end. And I've had people say, you don't get that excited for the nitro car. And the answer is I'm not announcing the nitro cars. It's not my job. I've got to do interviews. I got to do reporting on the starting line. Jet Car is supposed to be crazy. It's supposed to be a crazy situation. And so we are working our best to make it as crazy as is possible, like extreme craziness in the jet car world. And I don't know how many other people are out there doing a jet car spectacle like that, but Wild Horse Pass really bringing it. And I highly recommend to the cars and the people and the tracks all around the country that you want to bring in a big show, you plan to have the crazy jet car show. And maybe Jason Logan can create a new song every time to the Chariots of Fire. He starts playing Chariots of Fire, and I'm thinking, I just think of the slow motion running on the beach scene from Chariots of Fire. All you kids out there, it was a movie. Look it up, YouTube. And then I was like, Chariots of Fire. Chariots of Fire. That's right. Genius. And he sings his song, and then I yelled fire, and that's pretty much the whole show for those that missed it. He sung a song, I yelled fire, jet cars went down the track. The rest is history. All right, let me see if I can maybe make this thing happen. Last chance to get the Mike Ashley video. Oh, it's playing. It's playing ball now. And I know you're probably all thinking to yourself, Joe, this better be worth it. You better be worth it, Costello. And we'll see. It's about a third of the way into the download. I will take some more comments. Gary, thanks, Joe and Alan. Gary, love the jet cars at the last race. Tim Charlet is out there. Tim, where were you this weekend? Why were you not there? Nicole, do you think Pomona will have sellout days? I feel like it has had pretty low attendance the last couple of seasons. And all I can tell you, Nicole, I say with confidence, no, I don't think. Pomona is one of the, if not the largest venue on the tour. The idea that we're going to come in first race of the year into California where people are still not back in really any sport. So I've spoken with a lot of people about this. It's been a little bit of a hobby of mine to talk about, what's up with California? And it's not just California. It's up in Seattle. It's all up and down the West Coast where they got hammered by the pandemic really hard, both the pandemic version of the pandemic and also the rules and regulations associated with the pandemic. And a lot of people moved other places. A lot of people stopped going out. Everybody's got their own version. It's very expensive to live there. There's a whole myriad of reasons, a perfect storm, none of which is the one reason, but all together are multiple reasons. Also, you have the Winter Nationals right after the Auto Club finals, right after the holidays. That's got to be very difficult on the people that want to go out there and spend the money and check it out. I just saw the exciting conclusion, and now I'm going to see the start race of the year. You got to be a super diehard to go to that one. And so pushing it back a little bit, I think, is going to help. But if your expectations are a sellout, I would say lower your expectations. If we can do better than last year's Winter Nationals, that's a win. That's a win. But if I was a drag racing fan in Southern California, just like we told Robert told his fans, just like Tony Stewart said it best, get off your butt, grab your neighbor, and come to the track. And so many people pushed back on that video clip, which is out there, like, you don't understand. It's too expensive. Let me tell you about too expensive. You got me fired up now, because last night here in Phoenix, I was invited to go check out Monday Night Raw. All right, we're talking about WWE wrestling, okay? I saw Cody Rhodes win a match. He's going to be battling for the championship at WrestleMania. And where is WrestleMania going to be? It's going to be at SoFi Stadium in Southern California, which is also very tough because we're going to have WrestleMania happening the same day as the Lucas Oil Winter Nationals. I personally believe there's a lot of crossover fandom between wrestling and drag racing. But they were in Arizona on Monday night. Nosebleed seat for Monday Night Raw. Anybody want to guess how much a nosebleed seat is for Monday Night Raw? How much? Everybody's like, drag racing should be $20 for an 8-hour amazing show that lasts all day, where you get to walk on the track, you get to be up close and personal, you get to meet the athletes, you get to take pictures, you get to get autographs, you get to do everything, you get to hear Jason Logan come up with an amazing song off the top of his head. All of those things, whatever the price of the ticket is for drag racing, people are complaining about $54 to sit in the nosebleed, like 3 rows from the top. Monday Night Raw, $54. That, the price per minute, it was a 3-hour show. The price per minute is considerably more expensive than NHRA drag racing. So here's the deal. California car culture people, drag fans, go to the track, grab your friends, and go buy a ticket. We were putting 20% off coupons all over the place. I saw a lot of people grab the coupon, put it on their social media. It's a QR code. You get a 20% discount. So whatever it is, scan the code, you go to the website, you get the discount, 20% off. Go help continue this streak of amazing attendance and races. Gator Nationals, Arizona, Pomona. It doesn't have to be sold out. Just has to be a good, energetic crowd. That's another thing. Me and Jay Squared, Galvin, and Logan, who are starting their own podcast this week, by the way, for those of you, and I don't mind, sending my vast audience over to those guys because they're fun and funny, and they could probably be able to talk about things that'll get me fired, right? But it's about the crowd, not about the size. Are they energetic? Are they into it? Are they call and response? Are they having fun? Then there can be less. There can be less. Preach, Joe, preach. Right? I just bought my Route 66 tickets, an Indy, $85 each. A drop in the bucket for what I normally get to see. All right, and there it is. All right, I got one more video. One more video. This is Mike Ashley, just in total celebration mode, along with some others, celebrities out there. In fact, I totally forget what was in the video. Let's see.
And then look at this guy. Look at this guy. McNeil Freeman's still hanging out.
I love this stuff, man.
Yeah?
I love this stuff.
Why? Like, what is it?
The people. You.
Yeah,
hanging out with you.
You're overstating it a little bit.
No, overstating.
Well, no, because you got a big smile on your face, but this was a tough weekend for you.
It was, but it still was fun.
Boone Engine, drained one out there. Missed the time run. Missed the qualifying run. That had to be an unhappy moment.
Not really. Not really. I don't have unhappy minutes at the racetrack.
That's great.
And I'm coming up on a happy minute.
So are you going to tow up to Pomona and race there too?
Absolutely.
Have you ever raced there before?
I have.
Okay. What'd you think of this place?
I love it.
Great crowd.
I loved it. I love the people. The more people, the better.
There you go. All right, taxi heading to Pomona.
All right.
And Neil Freeman. And there's Mike Ashley. All right, let's do a real interview. You got crazy last time out.
Oh.
You got crazy last time. It was like
All right.
you're doing a promo. It was like a wrestler doing a promo, but it was good. No, it was good.
I see you, Joe. I get excited.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'm very popular with middle-aged men.
This sport is fortunate to have a guy like you. I'm serious.
Thank you.
He's a
Thank you,
student
Mike.
of the sport.
Thank you.
Dedicated to
Thank
it.
you. But it's happening again. We're not talking about me. We're talking about you. We're talking about your kid.
right.
Like, come on. You're a guy, very accomplished drag racer, won the big go, lived your life, got into this crazy thing, and then your kid is following you into it.
It's crazy.
And you got to be like maybe a little apprehensive about that. Like, oh man, drag racing. What am I doing?
You know what? I think the sport is an incredible sport. I think it's growing by leaps and bounds, and there's two sides to the sport. There's the business side of the sport, which is alive and well and very viable, and there's of course the driving and the racing part of this sport. And I love the fact that Justin is involved in this, because first of all, it's the most incredible. I know everybody races against each other out here, but it is literally a brotherhood. These teams all have incredible respect and genuine love for one another, and that's number one. And to have that kind of, you can't get that in another industry. I don't care what industry you're in. You got that here. That's first. The next thing is, Justin's got a degree in business, and there's a lot of business that goes on behind the scenes with these cars, and that's how you get these sponsorships and put these deals together. And I encourage people, you got to look into the sport, because there's a lot of value here to offer and a lot of business to be done. This is the I always say it's the high-speed golf course. So much more exciting than a golf course. You put deals together right here at the hospitality. And on the racing side, yeah, man, I mean, I love driving, but this is a whole nother level. Having your kid do something and being able to be a part of that is just incredible. I'm proud of him, proud of his team, Mike Crean, Tommy Delago, Dustin Davis, the whole team, and of course Justin's sponsors, Phillips Connect, Rob Phillips, Jim Epler, Susan. We're just blessed, totally blessed to be out here.
All right, how about the sneaks? Are these good luck? What's the story?
Yeah,
What's going on
you know
here?
What? These are my new blue shoes. I didn't have them on at Gainesville, and I said, you know what?
No!
I gotta get my blue shoes.
It's your fault.
Have them on, and now I know I need them. I need them. I had to have it. Listen, what can I tell you? You know what? When you don't have driving skills, you got to have fashion. So I just was never a good driver. My sons have got the driving skills in the family.
All right, good job. See you in a few days.
My best light was his worst.
Great job, Mike. Great job.
Mike Ashley. Proud papa. Very happy. See, I got it on the air. And you got a little McNeil Freeman as well. Those of you out there follow the stock super stock ranks, and the taxi came all the way west just to be a part of that race in his 75th year of life on Earth. Big Mac goes out there and gets it done. All right, so let's see what this guy. Stan wants to know if I got a media pass for Miami Formula One. I do have some tickets I might be selling, but I have not, I have not even tried to get a media pass. I should. I just feel like it's going to be a pain in the pass. And so it's like, oh man, I'm going to go through this big pain in the pass to get a media pass to then, ditch my friends and go be by myself. I don't know. Some things got to be for fun, right? Like going to the wrestling and spending $54 to sit in the nosebleed. But I didn't even know that Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream's son, is going to be battling for the championship. And NHRA's got some cool little stuff that's coming up. All right, final thoughts, guys. Do want to shout out, obviously, to the folks at Total Seal Piston Rings. Hartford and the team have invited me in here. We're doing the show. We're going to do Hidden Horsepower from here in the studio. Get Eddie Granacci up here. I'm going to do some audio switching, get things dialed in, and then we'll be posting that show later on today. TotalSeal.com. If you're building an engine, or if you're an engine builder, if you have compressors, if you have classics, if you want to put an engine back from years ago, call these guys. Call them first. They can get you on the right track. For instance, I'll give you an example with the Project Pontiac. I was speaking with Kevin Studaker from Total Seal, very knowledgeable guy. He's a Pontiac guy. We were talking about stroke and like how much stroke is the right amount of stroke. Because I had been recommended some extreme stroke. And he's like, Joe, too much stroke. It's going to be not good. too much side load on the inside of the cylinders. You give up the stroke, you'll have a happier engine. And I felt like, man, that sounded like a good idea to me. So TotalSeal.com, and their attitude is this. You give them a call, they help you out. The next time you need rings, you're going to come back to them. And that seems to be working very, very well. Foggit, F-O-G-G-I-T. This is a great brand out there in the world of drag racing. They do pay contingency, and they protect the inside of your engine. At the end of the night, you pull the ignition wire off the coil, you spin it over, you spray it down into the cylinders. That coats the cylinders, protects the surface of your cylinders. You're spending thousands and thousands of dollars to get that stuff perfect. You might as well spend tens of dollars, 2 of them to be exact, to protect it after you go racing. FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters. Paul Lee. Spent a little time with Jason Bunker the other day, and just like, you guys getting it? That was run, I believe, 16 on the 6-disc program. Paul Lee's team is going to come around. Just got to get laps. That's it. Laps. Got to make laps. Got to make runs. Got to figure things out. And they are getting there. But you don't have to wait if you want an automatic transmission that's going to go run the number and handle the power. 890 index, big money brackets. If you're getting involved in this game at all, FTI Performance is where you want to get your automatic transmission. Phillips Connect. You just saw Phillips Connect and the team and the chemistry they got going on over there. How about the crazy Mike Green, Jim Epler drag boat stat? It's all, like Mike said, serendipity out there. They're all connected, multiple layers. And Epler goes off to Phillips and has this idea for smart trailer technology, and they love it. And now he is the point on it, and he's bringing it back to drag racing, where there are literally hundreds of people with trucks, tractor trailers, and transportation industry. Go to phillips-connect.com, and if you want a personalized introduction for your business, you can email me, Joe, at WFOradio.com. Burning Speed Shop, American Classic Horsepower. Josh Hart. Josh put out on the Twitter that, something just wasn't right. Like, that thing was jumping up on the tires and blowing them off in a way that other cars were not doing. So they're going to have to go and take it apart. They get to race again here in a few days. But one thing that they never get wrong is what's coming out of Bernie's. Bernie's.com. Go to the website, go to the social media, check out the muscle cars that they've got. And if you want to buy a muscle car, if you want to sell a muscle car, a classic, an exotic, go to Bernie's, because they can help you sell yours through consignment. They can build one, frame off restorations, and frankly, their resume, their cars that they have built, their build resume, unbelievable stuff. A lot of stuff can't even talk about, like, due to those non-disclosure agreements, because they're so significant. Samtech.edu, of course, Frank Hawley's drag racing school, my buddy Marvin Rodak at Rodak'sCoffeeandGrills.com, getting the job done. All right, final comments. Let's see what people have got to say. Then I'm going to sign off. Is that sign behind you for you? Or is it there for another Joe? Joe Moriarty, who started Total Seal Piston Rings. It is for him. And this is something that, Hartford and his team here, Hartford's been here a long time. They want to keep the history of this company and how it started. The gapless ring was their innovation. The gapless ring. Like, how do we make a gapless piston ring? And Total Seal pretty much did the cutting edge work on that. And they've got it, refined now to a science, but they've also been cutting edge on countless other projects, which is like gas ported rings for people who run in categories that can't use gas ports, the very ultra thin rings that once upon a time people thought that won't work. And of course it works, and it decreases the friction in your engine and unlocks the hidden horsepower. Like, all of that stuff is coming out of Total Seal because of their background as a cutting edge technology going back to Joe. And they are keeping that alive with the studio and all throughout, making sure that everybody that works here. I just met a young man, Brian, who has been here since he was like 9 years old, like working around, hanging out with his family at Total Seal. So it's a really great situation, and they just wanted to keep a little love going to Joe. 72 Old says, "Yo, Joe, it was great to finally meet you and get your last few stickers on Sunday." You didn't tell me that was you. You got to tell me. Like, you can't just say, hey. You got to say, hey, I posted on the show. My comment is 72 Olds. I gave this guy my last couple of stickers. At least I had some stickers to give, because normally I forget them.
Stay tuned, guys. We'll give you an update on Project Pontiac. Of course, we are continuing to find out what's what with that. But right now, we are going to bounce on out of here. That is right. Finish this show and go start another show. All right, I want to apologize to everybody, but not really, for getting after all those people who complain about the ticket prices for NHRA. Like, everybody's got to have a spot for their negative energy. We know that, right? I went to the wrestling. I've been to many sporting events. I'm a sporting event connoisseur. I don't always have to pay. In this case, I decided to pay. And the cost per minute, the cost per hour, the return that you get, if you really want to have a great time, is unrivaled by the National Hot Rod Association. Is it because that I am working there? Partially, yes, but really not very much. You've got the quickest and fastest accelerating machines on Earth. You've got some of the most compelling and interesting personalities on Earth competing against one another. You've got music, you've got comedy, you've got commentary, you've got improv, you walk the track, you meet and interact and engage with the drivers. Like Cody Rhodes, man, I would have loved to go down and talk to Cody Rhodes. Like, hey, Cody Rhodes, I do a great Dusty Rhodes The American Dream impression. You want to hear it? That was not possible. To get a little WWE bracelet, like a cool bracelet, like a watch, is $54. You know, and I did not get that. But the NHRA is a value at whatever you're paying. It's just, are you a knowledgeable enough fan to get the full experience out of it? And that's what we're for. That's what WFO is for. That's what we do. Tell you where to go, where to be, what to see, who to go see, who's a nice person, who will be friendly with you, who will show you their car. That's why you check out this show. All right, guys, thanks to Total Seal for hosting us here today. Sorry about the audio at the beginning, but if you're watching this later, you probably won't even notice. WFO, guys. Thanks to Reinhardt as well.